Hey everyone, welcome back to KDX Bricks Analytics. There are 15 Lego BRICKHEADZ sets scheduled to retire at the end of this year, and I am going to rank them from first to worst for investing, and honestly, there are not many that are going to fall into the worst category. I like the vast majority of them for investing. Let's get right into it. I've got my data table on the left where I watch all of the other Lego investing and reselling videos on YouTube so that you don't have to, and I say that tongue in cheek. There are a lot of great channels out there. I recommend watching them all, but every time I watch a video and the presenter mentions a set for investing, then I mark it down as a mention in this column over here, and then for each mention, I give it an enthusiasm score of 0, 1, 2, or 3. The 3 is that the presenter thinks the set is going to be a top investment. A 2 is that the presenter thinks it's going to be an average Lego investment. A 1 is the presenter is interested but has some questions, maybe some concerns about it. And then a 0 is when the presenter says that they are absolutely skipping that set. Now to my number 1 retiring BRICKHEADZ set. It is 40628 Miles Tails Prower from Sonic the Hedgehog. What an adorable looking BRICKHEADZ. It just came out last September, so just over a year shelf life, and 11 mentions with a really solid 2.5 enthusiasm score. This set is just adorable. I love the yellow color, the eyes, the fur. I've said it before, some BRICKHEADZ, when you look at them, you really have to squint your eyes to figure out what character they're going for, and that's the nature of the BRICKHEADZ. That's what we love about them. They're supposed to be blocky, but some of them, you know immediately what character Lego was designing, and this is one of those. A glance and I see Tails, and I love it. This is my number 1 because Sonic BRICKHEADZ are new. Tails is part of the first wave, and my comparable is the Minecraft BRICKHEADZ, the Llama, the Alex that retired at the end of last year. And if we scroll down, we can see here on Brick Economy that the growth for these sets is already 177%, and they just retired at the end of last year. But wait, there's more to the story. Here is the original Minecraft BRICKHEADZ, Steve and Creeper, that retired in 2018, and it's gone from $20 to over $100. I think the Minecraft BRICKHEADZ theme is most similar to the Sonic theme. With these sets already averaging double in value, then yes, I am quite excited about this one. I do want to show that on Brick Economy, you can get a list of all of the BRICKHEADZ sub-themes and see the number of sets in each sub-theme and the annual growth rate. For example, here's Minecraft's annual growth rate of almost 11%. I found this list to be very handy. We'll reference it a couple more times in this video. Let's check out camel.com. Here's the chart for the Steve and Creeper 2-pack, and this is exactly what we want to see. It's just been up and up and up. Yeah, it has flattened out recently, but the current price on Amazon is $200 for those two characters. I don't anticipate any BRICKHEADZ that are coming out and retiring these days to perform anywhere near like this one. 2018 was a different era when it came to BRICKHEADZ. They were still relatively new. There were not a lot of people investing in them, so very short supply on the secondary market. But I still think that we can see upward trends, and we just got to normalize that to our current modern day expectations for how we expect Lego sets to perform after they retire, when we factor in that there are a lot more people investing in Lego sets and Lego is producing a lot more quantities of each set. Now let's look at the Llama on Camel 3X. I think this is a little better example of how things might look. It's had a few steady jumps, and hopefully those numbers keep on climbing. Before we move on to my second place set, I have to show you the spin here on lego.com because the back of Tails is so good. 2 tails back there. Great detail. All right, enough of that one. On to my second place set, 40631 Gandalf the Grey and Balrog. Let me find it on the table. 8 mentions, enthusiasm score of 2.8. Remember, the max E score is 3.0. I know I'm doing my ranking backwards. I should be doing worst to first, but I'm saving the drama for the set that I ranked in last place till the end because I know that's gripping. I know I put Gandalf and Balrog in second place, but I do have one concern about this set, and that is the 2-year shelf life. Outside of that, I have 0 concerns, and I absolutely love it, and I am excited to pick them up. The Lord of the Rings play sets from about 10 years ago have been just amazing. $12 to $87, $30 to $170, $80 to $281. It just goes on and on. The Lord of the Rings sub-theme has had a 434 lifetime % growth. Clearly, it is a hugely popular theme, and this is the first wave of BRICKHEADZ sets. On eBay, 40631 is already going over retail when you add shipping, so there's $29. Here's a $30 example, another $30 example, and there are already a lot of listings for all 3 Lord of the Rings BRICKHEADZ being sold as a bundle, which I think is a great idea. I've got to show you the spin on this one too because the back of Balrog is good. Even Gandalf with the layering is good. Back to Sonic for my third place set, 40627, Sonic himself. 12 mentions, E-score of 2.4, the same, just over a year shelf life. I am just as excited about this one as I am about Tails, but I rank Tails higher just because Tails is the secondary character, right? So everybody's going to be all excited about getting Sonic, loading up on Sonic, and sometimes it's that secondary character that ends up having close to as much demand on the secondary market, but a good chunk less of supply. So that's possible. I think it's razor thin. Honestly, my top 10 or so on this list I all love, so it was hard to decide between exactly which place do they go, but I came up with the best I could, and Sonic falls into third place. I want to show you the back of this one too, because Sonic's always cruising somewhere, and Lego did a great job of feathering and layering the back there to show all that speed. My fourth place BRICKHEADZ is 40672, Knuckles in Shadow. This is the last of the Sonic sets that has come out in the first wave and is also retired at the end of this year. And this one gets the extra bonus of only having 11 months shelf life. 8 mentions, enthusiasm score of 2.5 on the table. Those are fantastic metrics. The only reason I rank this one the bottom of the Sonic group is because it's the 2-pack and they look kind of similar. I know that one is black and one is red, but the shaping on these figures is very similar. So I wonder if a consumer is going to look at that and feel like, they're so similar. Is it worth paying the extra amount? You know, the buy-in price is double the single pack, but I'm really nitpicking at this point. I am almost just as excited about this one as I am the other two. There's a lot going on with both of these characters. The back of Shadow is really well built, and then I love the little tail on Knuckles. That's adorable. Going back to the Minecraft comparables, the 3 of them sold as a bundle are already going for double MSRP. Yeah, it does include shipping, but there's a lot of good sold listings showing how well those sets are already doing just about 4 months into retirement. I definitely plan on getting all 3 Sonic sets, holding on to them for a year or two and selling them off in one bundle, and then you don't have to worry so much about the very low price entry point and then having to sell a ton of sets to make it worth your time. Instead, you're selling one box worth of 3 sets that retailed at $40. Hopefully they go out the door between $80 and $100 in a year or two. My 5th place set is the Tusken Raider 40615, and this is crazy. Of the 15 BRICKHEADZ that are retiring, the first Star Wars only placed out in 5th place. I know it's crazy. Again, the difference between these is just razor thin, but this one has 7 mentions, a solid enthusiasm score of 2.7. Came out January of last year, so a 2-year shelf life. A lot of similarities to the Ahsoka set, which also had a 2-year shelf life. Only been retired a few months. It's going for $14 after shipping and fees. That's about normal for only being retired for 4 months. The Minecraft sets are an anomaly that they're already double in value, but I love this Tusken Raider figure. This is another one that when you glance at it, you exactly know the character. So many cool details. I like all the studs and all the curves and rounds that go along with the sharp edges of a BRICKHEADZ build. I definitely plan on picking up a lot of these. And now in a 6th place is the other Star Wars BRICKHEADZ retiring at the end of this year. And let me find it on the table. 40547, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader. 5 mentions, a kind of low 2.2 enthusiasm score for BRICKHEADZ. And please note this Lego in parentheses indicates that this set is a Lego store exclusive. You won't see it in this video, but other sets will have Target or Walmart in parentheses. That just means that they're exclusive to those stores. I'm not overly excited about this one, but it is Star Wars. It has Darth Vader. Obi-Wan is awesome. My hesitancy is 2-part. 1, over a 2.5-year shelf life. That is concerning. And 2, not the most fun to look at. I feel like the colors are kind of blah, even though they are a great representation of the characters, but you know, we like our colorful BRICKHEADZ. Still, they're great characters. They're must-have. Maybe they're a longer hold time, but I think they will still be very strong performers. And if we look at brick economy, Star Wars BRICKHEADZ overall lifetime have a 378% average growth. I don't think the modern day sets will do that well, but it's a strong theme in the BRICKHEADZ category. Heck, Star Wars is a strong theme anywhere. But before we go crazy about this one, please note the Mandalorian and Child that had an extra year of shelf life, so about 3.5 years, retailed at 20. Yes, it was on sale for I think 10 a few times and 13 a lot of times. It's only at 17 right now. I only have I think 1 or 2. Some people have a ton of them. I think they'll do okay, but it's going to be a longer hold time because of the longer shelf life. In 7th place is 40632, Aragon and Arwen from Lord of the Rings. Same story as Gandalf and Balrog, but obviously the set that I rank second just has so much more pizzazz, but these 2 characters are also really good. I recognize that Arwen is kind of plain, but with the print and the very light green color scheme, I still think it's going to be a standout BRICKHEADZ figure in the BRICKHEADZ lineup just because of the uniqueness of it. On our table, it has 6 mentions and an enthusiasm score of 2.3. Aragorn looks fantastic and has great detail detail. Yes, a 2-year shelf life, but let me show you the spin because the back of Aragorn is nicely finished off. Actually, both of them look pretty good, but Aragorn's extra pieces for the build on the back for the cape and the hair is well done. And then in 8th place is the last of the Lord of the Rings BRICKHEADZ, 40630, Frodo and Gollum. 8 mentions, E-score of 2. I get it, they're both kind of plain. Gollum looks like a naked hamster, poor little guy, but they are both must-have characters for any Lord of the Rings fan and for any BRICKHEADZ fan, in my opinion. I'm not worried about there being a shortage of demand for these after retirement. And at $15, you got a little bit of a different entry point that you can play with and maybe bundle them all together and get a pretty good return on investment after a year or two of holding them. Next up is Eve and Wally in 9th place. This is set 40619. This is another one that I love. It was so hard to rank all of these sets, but this one only has 4 mentions on the table, so maybe flying under the radar a little bit, maybe because it's a Disney set. The movie was out a long time ago. It's still very popular, but it does have a very solid 2.5 enthusiasm score, a little more than a 1.5-year shelf life. Looking at the Disney BRICKHEAD comparables, Eve and Wally are kind of unique looking, so I'm looking for other sets that are standouts. And if we scroll down, we will see that Anna and Olaf is kind of unique because of Olaf, and that one's gone from 15 to 38. That's a pretty good example. Jack Skellington and Sally from 20 to 93, and Buzz Lightyear from 10 to 15. 10th place is 40677, the Harry Potter Prisoner of Azkaban figures. Just came out in March and expected to retire at the end of this year. So if that holds, that'll be a very short shelf life, kind of like the Battle of Endor Heroes Star Wars from last year. I think I got that name right. This one is retailing at $50, so it's the standard $10 per character. 8 mentions, enthusiasm score of 2.6. Very, very good. As you've heard in my previous videos, I am not excited about investing pretty much any of the Harry Potter sets, but this one I think will be okay. I'm slightly concerned just because the overall Harry Potter buzz is dying off right now. But if we look at the Harry Potter BRICKHEADZ overall right here, Wizarding World, there are 12 of them and almost 15% annual growth. That's one of the highest on this list. And then the last good multi-pack that retired was Professor of Hogwarts, 40 up to 51, and you could get this one for 40% off for a brief period. And then Harry, Hermione, Ron, and Hagrid was kind of plain, 25 to 30. Voldemort, Nagini, and Bellatrix that retired a year earlier is only 25 to 30. That one I think is surprising some people. So with all that, I think this is a solid 10th place set. I'm going to wait until it goes on sale. I can get some really good gifts with purchase or Rakuten cash back. I think we'll get those opportunities and then I'll want to pick some up. 11th place is Disney's Moana and Merida, 40621. 3 mentions and a, I think, surprisingly low 1.7 enthusiasm score. I think the movie was decently popular, but there just doesn't seem to be a lot of buzz around this set. The 2 figures look fantastic. So I think this one might be a little bit of a sleeper. With some promos, I could see myself picking some up. But when looking at the Disney comparables, I feel like this set is going to kind of slide into some of the more plain looking BRICKHEAD characters. And so if we scroll down, we can see that Belle has gone from 10 to 28, pretty good, but Beast has only gone from 10 to 17. Mr. Incredible and Frozone has gone from 20 to 36, Elsa from 10 to 28. So I think it's going to fit into some of those and not the Ariel and Ursula that has gone from 20 to 100. A similar set in 12th place, but this time it is the Disney Villains, Cruella and Maleficent, 40620. 2 mentions, but a solid E-score of 2.5. I'm waiting for a discount on this one, but I generally like it. I don't think it's nearly as good as Ursula and the Ariel and Ursula set, but it's nice to get some unique and different looking figures in the Disney line. And now to the 3 Harry Potter 2-packs, and they are the bottom 3 on my table. And for the first time in a long time, I'm actually going to skip investing in licensed BRICKHEAD sets. This one is Shacklebolt and Tonks in 13th place. 3 mentions, E-score of 1.7. Yes, these 2 actually look pretty good. They're unique. They got some color, some different shaping. So there might be some potential for this one, but like I was saying earlier, the Harry Potter theme overall is just losing a lot of buzz. And 14th is Harry and Cho Chang, 40616. 4 mentions, E-score of 2. And then in last place is Malfoy and Cedric Diggory, 40617. And I need to find them on the table here. 3 mentions, E-score of 2. And if we look at all of the Harry Potter BRICKHEADZ, unfortunately, they're all starting to look pretty similar and blend together. And so when we get to these 3 3 new 2-packs, there just isn't anything that is too unique or too exciting that stands out. Again, Shacklebolt and Tonks a little bit, but I think compared to all of the other BRICKHEADZ that are retiring at the end of this year, these 3 are going to be kind of forgettable. All right, so those are the 15 sets that are on the Brick Fanatics retirement list, but there are 5 more BRICKHEADZ sets on my table to the left that are not scheduled to retire yet, but I want to mention them, and I figured I'll just go ahead and rank those 5 too, just so we have a gauge. We'll look at these more in the future when they do get on the retirement list, but they are BRICKHEADZ and they are still exciting to talk about. First of these 5, of course, is the Phantom Menace 40676. We just got official images a couple of weeks ago, and I'm gonna zoom in because these are so good. Young Anakin, Queen Amidala, Jar Jar Binks, Panaka, Darth Maul, and Qui-Gon. These characters are just so good. Of course, my favorite is Queen Amidala. And then I love young Anakin, the helmet with the goggles. It's so good. Like, you glance at that and you're like, oh, that's young Anakin. And, you know, the movie was great, and the character and just the story. A lot of nostalgia there for me around both of these characters. And then the Jar Jar BRICKHEADZ looks pretty good. Darth Maul I love, very, very recognizable as Darth Maul. Could have maybe had a little bit more detail. And then the other 2 still look great. They're just a little more plain compared to the other 4 because of their characters. But I love all 6 of these in this pack. Because young Anakin's a little bit smaller, it is a $55 set. For comparison purposes, the Battle of Endor Heroes was 40 bucks after shipping and fees, about $45, but it was on sale for, I think, 40% off, 30% for a little while, and then I think 40% off towards the end. So this one's already doing pretty well 4 months into retirement. And then next up is Stitch 40674 with 5 mentions, an E-score of 2.2. And my thought on this is similar to the Sonic sets. It's a new character from a new movie or sub-theme, and another one that has done really well in BRICKHEADZ form. I love the Stitch character, so I'm excited about this one. Third place is 40670 Iron Spider-Man. 3 mentions, a solid 2.7 enthusiasm score. It'll probably retire at the end of next year like all these that we're looking at now, so I'll have just under a 2-year shelf life. But if we look at previous Iron Man sets, 10 to 37, and then the other one is 10 to 35. I get that this one is Iron Spider-Man. The only Spider-Man comparable is this limited edition that is $40 to over $500. The comparables data looks good, and this is a really cool figure. I like it a lot. A very, very close 4th place is 40673 Spring Festival Mickey Mouse. Also 3 mentions, E-score of 2.7. Let's go straight to the comparables. We have 1 Mickey and 1 Minnie in BRICKHEADZ form, $10 to $60 and $10 to $80. This one is very unique looking with different printing and different colors, and it's themed to the Spring Festival, so I think this one has a good shot. And then the last one is Potted Groot 40671. 4 mentions, E-score of 2.3. I'm still generally excited about it. It's pretty cute. I mean, really adorable set, but it seems like there's been a number of Groot-related sets that have come out recently, and there isn't a lot of buzz around them. My guess is there will be more buzz around this one because it's BRICKHEADZ, and I think it's a really good build. But of the 5 not retiring at the end of this year that are on my table, I think it was easy for me to put this one in 5th place. All right, that's a wrap on this video. Thanks a lot for watching, and oh yeah, no top 3 at the end of this one for me because I gave you my top 15 and top 5 and, you know, went through everything and ranked them all. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you in the next one. Oh, and don't forget, my videos are for entertainment purposes only. I do not provide financial advice. You got to get that from somebody else.